I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Friday, May the 26th, brought to you in part by Noromycin by Norbrook. Noromycin 300 LA is your effective broad-spectrum antibiotic for treating seasonal diseases in cattle. And Norbrook wants you to remember that this product becomes a prescription product on June the 11th, like all your antibiotics do. But for more information, go to norbrook.com. Also, we surpassed 15,000 subscribers on YouTube. I'd like for you guys to get this report on nationalbeefwire.com. But YouTube is the way most of you get it, and we're glad to surpass 15,000 subscribers. That's kind of a threshold that we're proud of. If you have a hard time finding this report, but you'd like to get it more regularly, text the word flash to 209 Corbett or 209-267-2488, and it'll be texted to you every business day morning. Slow harvest catches up with the Packers, and I've been kind of telling you guys, we've seen a lot of analysts and most of the industry thinking that the light kills that we had all through April were bearish, and in fact your fat cattle market did go down, but it finally caught up with them. They've gotten so short of product and so hand to mouth that it finally caught up with them this past week, and the market went up in a pretty big way in the northern plains. Of course, they've got all the leverage. They've got the highest grading cattle. They sell enough negotiated cattle to still have some leverage in the marketplace, and that's why they've been able to do it. The southern plains, it's not just because they have plainer cattle. The southern plains is almost entirely formula sales from your big corporate feeders into their partners, the packers, and so there's just very, very little leverage there. So how are they going to manage to get more than $1 at a time? And most of the time they have to take steady or less money, but they were only $1 higher this week, while the northern plains was $4 to $5 higher, both live and dressed. But these cattle sellers need to learn about the last 6 weeks or so. What happened, the way that they lost their leverage, and for no reason at all. They still had really, really tight market-ready supplies. Demand was good from your packers. They needed the cattle. It was mostly basis jumping that caused the market to lose so much market position here over the last several weeks. But your cattle sellers need to learn why that happened. Try to keep it from happening, because we're just getting started here on this higher market. We're going to go here for probably a year now, going forward here, and they're going to have lots of opportunities here to continue to have their oars in the water, gain in market position, and not giving it up. This same scenario is likely to happen here in the early part of July. Whenever we lose our June live cattle, we should be good here for probably the next several weeks here going through the month, because we'll have a June live cattle that's now getting closer, just about $4 off of what your southern plains is selling cattle at, and a lot of people call that a southern plains futures contract, but just about $4 back now. The basis is wilting, and they've given up all this market position. But whenever we lose the June live cattle contract, then we're going to go off into August, and the whole month of July, we're probably going to see the packers use the same scenario that they used in May to work the cattle market lower. So you guys, look back and see what you did. We're sitting right now with the northern plains trading $12 higher than the southern plains. I don't think there's that much difference in them, guys. It's just the fact that the northern plains has still held on to the negotiated trade enough to where they have some leverage in the trade. And they've got all the packing houses up there that need cattle. They need them regularly. They're running short. But, the northern plains is running $16 over what your June live cattle spot futures market is. And that's, like I said, a lot of people call that a Southern Plains contract and don't take a lot of stock in it, but their lenders still want them to hedge to it. So, we just need to learn from what's happened over the last several weeks here and try to learn from the mistakes. Your cold storage report come out here later this week for April, and it said that boneless beef supplies in your cold storage were down 17% compared to the year ago. Bone-in beef products were down 8% from a year ago. And now the 5-year average, this has fallen below the 5-year average. Your cold storage on hand right now, like I said, your packers are really short of product, don't have a lot cryovac, and they've got to get out and buy it, and they have to hustle, and they have to tip their hand that they're really aggressive buyers are buying cattle for 2 to 3 weeks out and then calling for them the next day. We're hearing that kind of stuff all the time. I've been preaching to you guys. A lot of people watch me, but not very many people are listening that can make a difference, I guess. But the cold storage inventories on beef are now lower than the 5-year average, and that includes the COVID years when we were really tight on any kind of product there. But you notice your cow prices, cull cows and bulls selling higher here later this week. Your cow packers are getting aggressive on them. Talking to them at Paris Stockyards in Paris, Kentucky on Thursday. They had a bull that weighed over a ton, actually over 2,200 pounds, bring $1.62 a pound. Pound that up or figure that up per head. That's a big price there. But let's talk about your board on Thursday. June live cattle futures up $1.20, finally starting to respond as we get close to getting into June, but up $1.20 at 167.30. August up 65 cents at 164.77, and that's going to be a downer, guys, whenever we get to July. You can just figure on it, because I don't see how we're going to gain any ground in that with nobody on the long side. But your back months on live cattle were up a quarter to up 65 cents. May feeder cattle are actually unchanged on Thursday at 208.97. August up 17 cents at 234.70. Back months from unchanged to up 47 cents. So not a lot of activity in your feeder cattle pits. Your December new crop corn was down 4 cents on Thursday, ending regular trading at 5.16 a bushel. New crop beans down 12 3/4 cent at 11.72 1/4. July Kansas City hard red winter wheat was up 5 3/4 cent at 8.18 a bushel. Fat cattle trade continued on Thursday, and just kind of some cleanup trade. Had a pretty decent week. Iowa sold 2,900 head on Thursday, 28,500 head for the week, which is a big run for them. And at the higher prices, you can see why guys that were resisting went ahead and sold. With the prices that were paid on Thursday in Iowa were ran from 180 to 183 and 285 dressed. Nebraska 900 head of confirmed sales on Thursday, 22,600 head in Nebraska this past week, 182 to 183 on live sales, and 286 to 286 and a half. Hadn't seen that yet. And like I said, your prices in the Northern Plains this week were $4 to $5 higher than the previous week. Kansas only 400 head sold on Thursday, 12,500 head for the week, and the only quote on regular steers or heifers was 286 dressed. Texas didn't have any confirmed sales on Thursday, 10,800 head for the week, but your big price in the Southern Plains was 171, and that was just $1 higher than a week ago. Box beef cutout values were higher on Thursday. Choice cuts up $1.64 at $299.94. Selects up 75 cents at $284.54. Your slaughter through the first 4 days of the week, 498,000. That was 6,000 less than the previous week, 1,000 more than the same week a year ago. Your actual slaughter information for the week ending May the 13th finally came out. Average dressed steer carcass weight 891 pounds, 4 pounds less than the previous report, exactly the same as a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Inherit Select. Pair your intuition with genetic testing to select the heifers best aligned with your resources and goals. For more information, go to inheritprogress.com. Talk about your feeder cattle market, your real-time index on DV Auction based on 800 pound on the average, 7 to 899 pound cash auction steer up through your middle 12 states, 211.79, up another 64 cents. CME cash feeder cattle index is dragging behind with the latest available at 208.14, but it'll get there. I tell you what, they had a heck of a video sale, just one of the regular video sales on Western Video Market out in California, guys. And I wanted to give you a top sale off of that happened on Thursday, and we take the internet bids for them with DV Auction. You know, guys need to check them out, and if you've got cattle to sell on the western side of the country, you need to check out Western Video Market. They just continue to have these unbelievably high sales, including the Robin Ranch on Thursday. They had 136 head of home-raised wean steers. They were 700 pounds delivery within the next 2 weeks. Come out of Dixon, California, had all the bells and whistles, of course, natural and gap and everything you can put on one, but bring $275 a pound, guys. Oh my goodness, that's a big price. How about your big brick and mortar sales that happened on Thursday? Winter Livestock in Pratt, Kansas at 1,500. Like I said earlier this week, your receipts are going to be extremely light going from now until we get to the end of July, whenever some of those cattle are coming off of grass in the double stock pastures in the Flint Hills there in the Osage. But it's not going to take very many cattle to draw a crowd of buyers. It's just really tight receipts right now. But Pratt had 1,500 is all. The market had a higher undertone, but really couldn't get a good test of any one group. But a stick-out sale in Pratt on Thursday was 61 steers, weight 883 at 204 1/4. Thought that was awfully good. How about Farmers and Ranchers Livestock in Salina, Kansas? 1,400 head for them. It was sharply higher in a light test. They had a stick-out sale similar to Pratt, 62 head of steers, weighed just shy of 900 pounds, 899 pounds at 205 1/2. Your National Beef Wire stick-out sale of the day was Mitchell Livestock Marketing in Mitchell, South Dakota. They're friends of ours and DV Auction broadcasters. 3,200 head for them. The feeder steers were 8 to 15 bucks higher, guys. Oh my goodness. Feeder heifers steady to $5 higher. Look at this automated market report through Cattle Market Central. You see 193 head of 7-weight steers, average 755 with a weighted average price of $239.28. 200 head of 9-weight steers in Mitchell, South Dakota, average 933 with an average price of $201.99 on all those. You look at your heifers, they had 225 head of 7-weight heifers, average 730 at $210.60 on the average price. A lot more heifers than steers. 429 head of 8-weight heifers, averaged $860, weighted average price $186.88, and 674 head of 9-weight heifers. You don't see that many 9-weight heifers anywhere. They average 935 pounds with a weighted average price of $183.64. Going to give you some stick-out sales from all around the country. My friend Brian Curlis, auctioneers in Fairview, Illinois, at the Fairview Sale Barn, told me about 63 head of 915-pound steers that bring $212.75. Big time price there. How about Wilcox, Arizona? Wilcox Livestock Auction, DV Auction broadcaster there. If you guys want some hard desert, elevation desert cattle, tell you what, guys, they're hard and the quality's sure good enough. You should take a look at them. You can view and bid that sale every week there in Wilcox, Arizona. On Thursday, they had 209 head of 594-pound steers, bring 220, 250. Nothing to sneeze at, but a lot of you guys would like to have those cattle for that. How about my friend Jeff Azaleas, who owns and runs Durant Stockyards in Durant, Oklahoma? He told me about a load of heifers. They were Black Baldy heifers coming from the Brannon Ranch. They weighed 778 and bring 202 to go to feed. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Thursday in your Mackerson, no BS, top quote for the day, come out of Stockman's Livestock Exchange, the West Barn in Dickinson, North Dakota. It was the Preston Henderson cattle, 133 head of steers, weighed 730 and going back to grass at 255 and a half. And that's your feeder flash for Friday.